What is up, everybody? Trip Morgan here for Panthers Source. It is game week. It is Dallas Hate Week. Billy, it's finally here. It's our first preview of the 2018 season, our second season doing this whole crazy contraption that just started with much of nothing last year.
Yeah, it's come a long way from last year, starting just with a laptop and not knowing really what we were doing.
Not knowing what the hell we were doing.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back in the season, having the season start, and see the Panthers play this Sunday finally for something besides a preseason win.
Yeah, it's going to be, which we ended 3-1, which is fine. I'll take that. I mean, that's always good, right? But now it's on to bigger and better things, and we got a pretty popular, I guess, America's team, as they like to call it, Dallas Cowboys Week 1. We're here for the preview, and if you're watching this on your platform, if you're right here on Facebook, like and follow us so you get informed and notified on everything we drop on the page. If you're watching live on YouTube with us right now, they're both going simultaneously. You can subscribe to us there and get notified. Hit that little bell icon. And you can also follow us on Twitter. That's where we're at, discussing a lot during the game and tweeting back and forth with fans and all that jazz. And if you're the type to like the podcast form and listen to the show later, and you're listening there on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify, you can also subscribe there, and you'll get notified every time there. It's that simple. It's not hard. But if you would, leave a review on all of those platforms, whichever one you may happen to be listening from. We greatly appreciate it. It's really simple. But, man, we're going to get into this right now, aren't we? We're going to jump right into injury updates first. I think that's always, it's Wednesday. Injury reports come out. A little bit of a stunner this week out of nowhere. And, you know, if you watch our show regularly, you know we're big fans of Curtis Samuel. Rivera pretty much said he's going to miss this week's game. Came out of nowhere, really, for fans anyway. They may have been known. I don't know if they just discovered it, but had an irregular heartbeat, and they had what has been reported as a minor procedure, and they're just going to keep him out this week as a precaution. Hopefully he gets back in week 2, because Curtis Samuel had a huge preseason and has shown a big improvement.
And I think it was a little bit of shock to the team itself, because Funchess said in an interview when he didn't know anything until a reporter asked him about it. So they kept it real hush, even in Ron Rivera's, interview this week for week 1. He said it's just a medical issue.
Yeah,
like he didn't elaborate, and the players didn't even know.
Yeah, and we're hoping it stays that way, because the last thing we need after everybody getting excited again, and really not even just for us, but Curtis Samuel has he fought back from that bad injury last year after showing flashes at the time, comes back and he looks doubly improved. And he's building all this hype, and then he has to miss a week. And hopefully it stays just a week and he's right back on the field, because he's created more separation than any other Panthers wide receiver during the preseason anyway. Yeah. So I hope that gets better. But also, we kind of hit on this in the final 53-man roster projection earlier this week. Matt Khalil is on IR. He'll be out 8 weeks, so he won't be here this week. Really shuffling around that offensive line. And I'm still not sure exactly who's going to be at right tackle. I haven't seen a lot talked about that. I know Jeremiah Searles had a hamstring injury. I don't know how he's coming back. Darrell Williams has been back practicing. That's an update. He's practiced all this week in full pads. He was listed as limited, as was Chris Manhertz, and Amini Silatolu. So that Darrell Williams situation is something everybody's monitoring closely. Obviously, we're going to see if I'd be shocked if they played on week 1. Carolina's typically really cautious with injuries. Yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But as of right now, I'm not exactly we don't really know who's going to take that right tackle spot. We're just going to have to watch. So Taylor Moton, Greg Van Roten, Brian Khalil, right guard Trey Turner, and then right tackle is TBD. But I still, honestly, I'm not terribly worried at this point, even with that designation there. The guys that have played there have shown. I'd be kind of surprised to see Corey Robinson step right in his first week here and take that spot. But whoever's there, hopefully they can man that spot. I'd rather it be on Cam's right side instead of his blind side. Yep. So. And that's pretty much it as far as I saw there for injury reports this week. And we're going to hit a few little facts before we jump into our roster battle positions between these two teams on each side of the ball. This is just the second time under Ron Rivera. All this is from Will Bryan on the Panthers reporter for stats and stuff. He's always posting some really cool stuff. So shout out to him and all the work he does. But this year marks the second time under head coach Ron Rivera and the first time since 2013 the Panthers have opened the season at home. They lost that other one against the Seattle Seahawks in 2013. I was at this game, so I distinctly remember it.
That was my first game, my first Panthers game ever.
That's right. Yeah, you were there too, because you went with Blake and I. That's right. Yep.
Yeah, I learned you don't drink really hard Saturday night,
and then
you drink on Sunday.
Yeah, at the Roaring Riot tailgate.
Yeah. You drink on Sunday, not on Saturday night. But yeah, and that was a game that was 7-12 with a D'Angelo Williams fumble from behind
in crunch time near 5-yard line, driving in and fumbled the game away. It's kind of funny considering where that relationship has gone between him and Panther fans and the organization as a whole. But so that was disappointing. But between Dallas and Carolina, Dallas leads the all-time series 9-4, and it's 9-2 against the Panthers in the regular season. However, when it is counted, Carolina has really, held their own, obviously, with the 1996 playoff win against the defending Super Bowl champion Dallas Cowboys at the time. We've got a highlight video up of that on the page. It's always fun to go back and reminisce. And in 2003, of course. And then, obviously, the most notable one recently was the Thanksgiving Day game in 2015, where the Panthers absolutely just demolished them when they were doubted going in undefeated because Tony Romo came back from an injury.
Yeah.
And he was abruptly left with another one. Not that we wish that on anybody, I'm just saying. But it was just kind of disrespectful at the time that year. So that's pretty much it as far as the fun facts go that I really got. There's a few more up here. Y'all can check that out on the Panthers.com website. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the position battle preview and highlight some areas there that we're going to be watching. We'll first go with the Dallas rush defense versus the Panthers rush offense. Obviously, Dallas has a stud linebacker themselves back there. Sean Lee, when he's on the field, he's battled injuries throughout his career. Yeah. But when he's on the field, he's like a mini Luke Kuechly. I mean, the guy's all over the place. So that's going to be something to watch for, Panthers run game, Christian McCaffrey between the tackles. And even, the Panthers offensive line is, we feel okay about it right now. I feel fine, but it's still going to be something to watch in a real game, how they develop and play.
Yeah, and that week one, everybody's ready to play. Everybody's well rested. It's going to be interesting to see that they do hold up like they did in the preseason, because now it means something. So players are definitely going to play a lot harder. I think it'll be fine, and if not, we have another tight end to add for blocking. We have a good fullback, and we'll make adjustments.
Yeah.
So I think we should be fine against their rush defense.
Yay for adjustments, everybody! How about that? Yeah, yay for adjustments. But no, and back to that, the Cowboys also drafted. And look, as we're going through these position previews, and guys, y'all feel free to jump in these comments and tell us something y'all like or dislike or what you're worried about. We'll try to catch everybody's comments and read them as we go along here. The Panthers drafted a linebacker. I mean, not the Panthers. The Cowboys drafted a linebacker in the first round. Vander Esch, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He's been battling some injury issues throughout the preseason here lately. But they also drafted a guy last year, Jalen Smith, who suffered – he was a top linebacker prospect last year going into last year's draft. Had a severe injury, got knocked out, and he's worked his way back. And he's somebody you might want to keep an eye on in this game to see how things go, because you can't just sleep on them. The Cowboys lost a lot of people this offseason on the defensive side of things. But they still have DeMarcus Lawrence, the pass rusher. And obviously, I mean, he's going to be good too. But right here, the Panthers rushing offense versus the Dallas rushing defense, Billy. What and fans, who do you have the edge going to right now between this? I mean, I know we're not as familiar with their defense.
Yeah, with their defense.
They got DeMarcus Lawrence and they got these linebackers, and they got Gregory on the other side, defensive end. I mean, not top in the league, but they're not going to be completely terrible either. It could, surprise us. What you got?
I was looking at a stat actually updated this week after those cuts that Dallas is the youngest team in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
I think that the age in the the veterans on the team will get us through. I give the edge to our O-line. Okay. Even if it's pieced together,
young and pieced together.
I think that it's that we're a little bit older compared to their team.
Okay, that's interesting. I kind of, and this kind of goes back to what I've been saying all, really preseason, I guess. I'm not going to say training camp because that's really when things started getting shifted around on our offensive line. I feel pretty, I don't feel like extremely confident, but I feel more confident than a lot of fans do about, the pieces on this offensive line right now. If this particular line stays healthy, that's been my whole thing. And right now, I'm going to give that edge to just from what I've seen in the preseason because that's all I can go off of. And I watched a little bit of the Cowboys preseason tape. Now, granted, they had some people out here and there too as well, but I'm going to give the edge right now to the Carolina Panthers offensive line. I expect them to shock some people and really get the fans back into things after week 1. So I'm going to give the edge there. Y'all drop y'all's comments. Tell us who you think has the edge. And you can be honest. I mean, we get homerism sometimes too, but we always try to keep it real. I'm going to hit y'all's comments on Facebook in between these. Everybody's saying beat up on them Cowgirls. Look, keep pounding. Let's go.
And I feel the players that have something to prove, they prove it and then they go get paid. You don't have a Matt Khalil that's getting $55 million. Doesn't matter what he does. These players want to prove themselves,
especially if Darrell Williams ends up playing right tackle.
So I think there's a lot to prove, and I definitely give it to to our offensive line.
Yeah, Mark Strickland wants to know what we're standing against. He's predicting the Cowboys to only score a touchdown and maybe a few field goals. His prediction is 27-10. We're going to get to our predictions at the end of the show. We're also going to hit a little fantasy preview for this matchup for the Carolina Panthers and Dallas Cowboys top players heading into this week. Everybody keep pounding. Yep, y'all keep pounding. Let's see. Gerald Gibbs, do you think DJ Moore will get a lot more reps with Samuel being out, even though they have Wright starting at slot? We will hit on that right here in a minute in that position preview, Jabril. Antonio Carell joining. What's up, Melissa? Hello. Rashad Beard, what's up, fellas? Aggie, he's dropping the ECU thing. All right. Yeah, congrats. You beat a really weak team right now. Let's see. I'm seeing if y'all got anything. Sean Lee needs to be. I don't see anything there, so we'll move on. The next position we had up was what, Billy? It is
we have the Dallas Pass D versus
that's it.
Yeah. Dallas Pass D versus Panthers Pass O.
Let's see. And this is pass defense versus Panthers pass offense. This is where Dallas really lost a lot of players in their secondary last year. So this is going to be a pretty interesting one. And I mean, really right here, they lost all these guys. I'm kind of giving the edge to they do have a young, and I forget his name. I forgot how to pronounce his last name. But they do have a young cornerback over there. 2 of them, actually, obviously, because they lost the veterans. But one of them, I think his name started with a J. I can't remember. He was supposed to be pretty good last year, and they're expecting him to take a big jump this year, so he'll be something to watch. But they got DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously. That's the big one. I mean, the pass rush. And then Gregory on the other side. DeMarcus Lawrence, he's fast, man. The edge on this one would be kind of tough. I'd have to give, and because he's experienced, I think he had like 14.5 sacks last year. So I think I kind of have to give the edge to Dallas on the pass D as far as like getting the cam and maybe rushing the pass or something. Because as much as we like Moten on the left side, and the one game we saw him, he's going to have to get some reps and get some kinks worked out. And I think DeMarcus Lawrence and those 2 defensive ends are somebody that could actually, take advantage of that, especially in week 1.
That name, I'm going to try to pronounce it. Chidobe Awuzie?
Yes, that's it, Awuzie.
There we go.
I know his first name started with a J, last one was Awuzie. Okay.
His first name starts with a C.
C? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
They're Dallas players. Who cares?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Going to roll them anyway. But yeah, I would give the edge to the Dallas pass rush mainly, not the secondary, but I think the pass rush, if it gets going, could play a factor, and DeMarcus Lawrence has that, I think.
The good thing about Cam this year in preseason that we've seen is he is checking down.
Yes.
So we are going to get rid of the ball. Hopefully, if he stays in preseason form that he was in, that he's going to be getting rid of the ball a lot quicker than we are used to in years past, where he stands back there and gets sacked. He's finally looking underneath.
And something I feel like that's going to happen a lot more under Norv versus Shula is Cam didn't get a lot of credit for it. Cam recognizes blitzes really well, and he's been known to check down the screens. It happened last year against the Lions, and we threw the screen pass to Devin Funchess. He read the pre-play blitz. He read it, audible to a screen, threw it to Funchess, and it was like a 35, 40-yard touchdown off that screen because of the blitz. And I feel like Norv is going to give Cam the freedom to do that a little bit more. So I really look forward to seeing that kind of grow out of Cam as well. I feel like sometimes he may have been a little bit restrained, so that's going to be interesting to watch as well. Checking y'all's comments up here on YouTube. Saw a depth chart and Amini is listed as a starter at left guard instead of Roten. I really hope not, Panther fan 13, because that would just be disappointing. They've done it all year, but they can't seriously believe Van Roten is better than Amini is better than Van Roten. Scootson Gaming, I hope the Panthers secondary improves. I do too. I feel like it should from last year. Moving on here to the next position. Panthers rush. We're flipping sides now. Panthers rush defense versus Dallas rush offense. This is where I think the Panthers are just completely loaded. I mean, now granted, well, Dallas's offensive line has been, but they're battling injury issues right now, and I know you got something.
Yeah, the stat that I looked up this week was that their starting center is diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a disease of the nerves, and their second stringer is also injured. So they've moved Joe Looney, who's only played special teams since 2016. So opening game, hasn't played a real snap really since 2016.
And that's so key because it's right there up the middle.
Yep.
And we added Dontari Poe this season, which was a huge addition after losing Starr, and we thought we were going to take a step back there. It's, a lot of us believe it could be a big step forward and improvement from Starr just because of the pass rush effect on top of, his run block. I mean, his opening the holes in the stuff in the run. But with their center being out or being, young and inexperienced.
Well, he's not young. He's been in the league
7 years.
For 7 years, yeah. But he hasn't played a snap since 2016 besides special teams.
Right. And if you're giving pressure up the middle, that's gonna be trouble.
And it would just be about containment for our defense because we'll shut the middle down. Just make sure we keep Ezekiel Elliott on the inside.
Yeah, and I think we'll talk about our main keys to the game right here shortly. But if the Panthers are getting that interior pressure from Quan Short and Dontari Poe all game, you know what they're gonna do to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys?
He's gonna get sacked a lot.
Finish him.
They're gonna finish him.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge key. And then obviously on our outside, we have the future Hall of Famer Julius Peppers and Mario Addison, who's just been a stud for the last several years and got rewarded recently for it. And like I said, the Cowboys offense is known for having that stout offensive line, but they have battled these issues this preseason. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I watched some preseason tape, and they were giving up some pressure. Dak was on the run a lot, and if that's happening, it's going to be a big factor.
Yeah.
And because of that, I know they have Ezekiel Elliott, but Carolina's defense typically steps up against big top-name running backs, and I'm going to say Carolina has the edge here with their experience and talent and the injuries on Dallas' side.
Yeah.
You agree?
I definitely agree. I think they will shut down Ezekiel Elliott. And
by shut down, what do you mean? What are you predicting for Ezekiel Elliott? We'll go ahead and drop that now too, just right here on this.
I think they hold him under like 3.5 average yards.
Okay, average yards per carry. All right.
Yeah,
that would be. I would definitely take that. Actually, I think they'll definitely keep Zeke under 100. Not even say he doesn't get over. He won't get over 75 yards. That's going to be my prediction. Because I feel like they're going to try to get him going early. Obviously, he didn't play in the preseason. They're trying to keep him fresh. But I think that's going to be a huge key, and I think the Panthers have the defense and front seven for it. Obviously, Thomas Davis is out. This is something to remember. But I think between
I am
Luke
very
and Shaq,
comfortable with Shaq Thompson.
Yeah, Shaq and then David Mayo, whoever ends up rotating out over there. So checking Facebook, BJ Bollinger, it all starts up front. Pressure helps the secondary. Yep, you got it. If you get the pressure and force the quick passes, it makes bad decisions and helps the secondary out. That was a big key in 2015. Johans, I only worry about the secondary. I think the front seven will be fine. Yeah, front seven hasn't typically been an issue with Carolina.
And that's where we'll go into the pass defense versus the pass offense.
Yeah, good transition.
I think if we are able to get that pressure, and of course Julius Peppers, his 6 games against the Panthers, he just eats the Cowboys, or against the Cowboys, he just eats them up. He has 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 3 tackles for loss, 3 hurries, and a forced fumble in his 6 games that he's played against the Cowboys as a Panther.
Whew.
Yeah.
So I expect him to keep that up. It's like he lives for that moment.
Yeah, and I feel that if we're gonna say that the Panthers rush D is gonna stop it, they're gonna get pressure and it's gonna help out our secondary. And who are they gonna throw the ball to? Witten's gone.
Witten's gone.
Dez Bryant is crying somewhere in Cleveland. Well, they have Allen Hurns. Who else do they have?
Michael Gallup, and this is a guy I don't want people to sleep on Michael Gallup because I've told you I was a big fan of his coming out in this year's draft. He's a sleeper guy that Panther fans shouldn't sleep on. I'm not saying he's going to come out here and have a 100-yard game, but he has the ability to beat somebody deep at his size, and he also has the run after catch ability. So it's going to be something to watch and monitor. Just don't sleep on Michael Gallup. But yes, I agree. The problem with that is they don't have a lot of chemistry yet, so it's going to be something to watch there.
And I saw, let's see who was, Johan saying they have Hearns, Tavon Austin, and the Welker-like slot players may be trouble.
Yeah. Yes. What's his Cole Beasley. And that has been the slot receivers has been a problem for Carolina over the middle. Quick guys, and that was a big issue last year because Shaq Thompson was lined up constantly man to man against these guys.
I'm not so worried about Tavon.
Outside of his deep threat.
I mean, outside of the deep threat, but if we're getting the pressure. Right. I don't think it's going to have time to develop.
And this is one of the reasons you drafted Dante Jackson. He's a guy that can keep up with that kind of speed, and he's probably going to get an opportunity against Tavon Austin at some point because Tavon Austin has that game-changing speed where if he gets you beat deep for a 60-yard touchdown pass, it changes momentum. It could come at any time in the game, and that's always a game-changing play if it does.
And we can transition right into special teams, which those plays do make a huge difference.
Yep.
My biggest thing is Tavon Austin and his threat are making the field short. We showed in preseason we have some trouble wrapping up, tackling. We're allowing extra yards, and you let Tavon Austin get loose.
Yeah.
He's gone.
But if you tackle him, he has a tendency to fumble, so just knock the shit out of him. And the other funny thing about this is Tavon Austin has a pretty cocky side if you've ever watched the HBO show Hard Knocks that he was on with the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
He has a pretty cocky side to him too, so I kind of hope him and Dante Jackson line up against each other. I want to see some fun smash mouth talking and going back and forth, and then Dante just shutting them down.
Yeah.
So,
that's why I miss Josh Norman, just for that.
Travis, yeah, right.
Just for trash talk.
Brings that edge. Travis Cruthel, Sr., that's why we should take away a linebacker and add the extra DB. And I think you're going to see that under Washington. That's what kind of why we've been hitting on that all preseason. Washington is going to run and run more nickel, I believe, but let the defensive line get pressure. I think he can trust those guys, but we'll see what happens. It all depends on if they're getting it or not. But moving on, that was specialist, so that pretty much wraps up that side of things. Now, I heard somebody, we were talking, I think it was Jabril earlier, was asking about DJ Moore getting more reps with Curtis Samuel out, and I think that's absolutely a possibility, even with Jarius Wright in there as well. Wright's really a chain mover, and he's been used a lot, but I think you can see Moore probably rotate in because I think they needed to use Curtis Samuel at some point. Maybe not this first week, but I feel like as the season goes on, if he comes back and is doing things like he did in that preseason, he could be in for a surprise breakout year. But Carolina, Cam just has so many weapons. Yep. He can spread the ball this year, and that's when Cam's at his best. And it doesn't get talked about when he's out at games. making completions to 7, 8 different receivers when the receivers can catch the damn ball.
Yeah.
It's a big difference, and I hope DJ Moore gets it going. But I'm a big fan of Jarris Wright, and I told everybody that when we sign him, this could be a key pick that nobody talks about all year until he's making those Jericho Cotchery clutch plays on third downs and stuff to move the chains. So it's going to be something to watch. Checking comments on YouTube right quick. I think Dante Jackson is going to be a monster. Scootson Gaming, yeah, we're all a big fan of him here. He's really shown out. Obviously, the coaches felt good enough about him not to play him at all in the 4th preseason game, even when he was healthy. So, Chauncey Ellaby, Dak throws a lot on the run. Hey, bring it on. And that's something we've got the linebackers and speed to cover that type of thing. So keep that rolling as well. Philip Mass, new rules, helmet to helmet leading might make it difficult for defense. We kind of hit on this in the 3rd preseason game, Billy.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell how hard they're going to call those calls like they did in the preseason because they always do this in the preseason.
Yeah, when they change the rule, they hit it really hard and try to get it to the players. But the ones that they called in the preseason were awful.
They were terrible.
And at what point in the ones that were awful in the preseason, at what point does the quarterback become the runner?
Yeah.
Because at that point, there's no more of that. If he's, if he's breaking a tackle, he's now become a runner, and you're just making a clean tackle, and you hit the ball with your helmet, and it's in his midsection. It's a penalty.
I mean, it's like they're using the rule as some of them describe it. I saw some reporters and analysts saying that you can't drive a player into the ground. Where neither one of those plays, the quarterback was driven into the ground. He was taken down on a tackle. But, he's going to go to the ground. He can't. I mean, it wasn't like intentionally
So how does
power
one
bomb.
tackle and not
WWE?
And how do you not land on somebody after you tackle him? Like, I tackled
that's
you.
That's what I'm saying. What are you supposed to just hit him hard and hope he falls to the ground? And
no more wrapping up?
Yeah. I mean, if they bump him and he stands up and he makes a pass for 25-yard completion, I mean, that's BS. But hopefully we see that not as frequent in the regular season as they were just trying to establish the point in the preseason. They talked about it last preseason with the new pass interference rules. Hopefully we'll see that this year. There were still some big calls last year that changed games and whatnot.
Which in the preseason they would get those, but they would miss blatant block in the backs. Like, I think they were taught in the preseason only to look for those flags and not anything else.
Yeah, well, hopefully that gets corrected this coming it doesn't mess us up in the regular season anyway. Moving on, Billy, you want to talk a little bit of fantasy?
Yeah,
I know you love fantasy.
I love fantasy football.
Fantasy. Don't sit here and try to hide it from everybody.
Before the show, I mean, I logged in my FanDuel first time 5 years, and I was like, "Damn, I won a lot of money."
FanDuel we'll take a sponsorship, by the way. Come on.
So looking at fantasy, Cam Newton is projected, and this is PPR default scoring
Yahoo leagues only.
It's projected 21.93 points.
We're going to play a little over-under with this here too, guys, by the way. So drop in what you think. If you think any of these guys we're talking about in this fantasy preview are going to have over or under their score, we'll go ahead and check those in the comments as well.
I think he goes over.
21.93. If it's any indication, and it was 2015, it was 3 years ago, so it's kind of hard to say anything. But I think Cam has the weapons. If Norv is truly going to incorporate and keep the run read option and stuff, and keep Cam running, I think he's just too dynamic, and it'll be really interesting.
I think he's getting more rushing points than passing touchdowns this game, so I think he's going to go over.
I think he gets over 21.93. It might not be much. Maybe ends with 24-25 and a victory. Obviously, is the most important thing here. But I'll take the over. Let's see if anybody's chiming in on Cam on the over. Look.
over.
Yeah, over. Look, Dallas Cowboys fans, y'all can join us too. Don't be shy. I mean, look, you can come in here, and I know y'all be throwing in some. I saw a Dallas Cowboys fan on Twitter post Dak was a top 10 QB and didn't even have Cam in the top 10, and was saying that. Oh man, it was ridiculous. He had Marcus Mariota ranked over Cam.
Week 2, they have Cam number 3, like to have the third best quarterback in the league. Not fantasy, just.
Yeah, well, in fantasy, he's been a QB1, so has always had at least 18 passing touchdowns and 5 rushing touchdowns the last 7 seasons. So
I've never owned him on a single team.
That's just sad.
But I owned the other fantasy quarterback in the division.
Pat Widener is asking, did Rivera ever get an explanation for that back-to-back roughing the passer penalty? He was talking to her for a long time. We never heard anything on it. I didn't anyway. Steve, let's see. Josh Kurtz is saying over on Cam's fantasy. Pat Widener over. Mike Strib over. I think Josh saying he thinks he'll rush for one. And Johan saying over all day. Yeah, I definitely think Cam gets a rushing touchdown. He could this year, if we're getting near goal lines. Well, I ain't gonna go that far. I was gonna say I could see him getting back to double-digit rushing touchdowns this season, but we'll have to see how they use them.
They did just in the preseason. They only ran CMC up the middle, but that's preseason.
Yeah,
they're not showing their hand, and we saw the ones where Cam threw it away or took the sack.
A lot of options
when
back
we
there
would
with that.
We would run. So I think that some fake handoffs and him bootlegging out to make it to run into the end zone is gonna be he's gonna do it. At least once.
Yeah, this game.
This game.
Moving on. Let's go. What's Dak got? We'll go ahead and hit Dak for a minute.
16.99. I'm going under because he's going to have a fumble.
Because you're a Panthers fan?
No.
That's what everybody's going to say, Billy. Because he's going to have a fumble. You're saying he's going to have 17.8 points. He's going to fumble and fall below that.
He's going to have a fumble
and a pick.
Julius Peppers is going to strip sack him.
And he's going to have an interception. Double it up.
Maybe.
I don't know. I could.
He's a smart. He's a smart
He's
player.
a good game manager.
He will throw the ball out of bounds before he throws it down the field in a nasty pass. So I think that he'll fumble.
I think he can get 17. I'll go with the over there just to be, because I feel like if I was a betting man, that's how I'd do it. Who we got next?
CMC.
Oh yeah, the man
at 18.84.
And you can give me the over. Yeah.
Is this 1 point PPR,
18.
half a point?
This is half point.
I'll give him. I'll
take the over.
Okay, then. I had CMC last year, which he's different this year.
Yeah.
But I think he goes under.
Under? Okay.
He may work out for whoever has him in all my leagues, but I think he gets 16 points.
I'm just, if they stick to the work that they've been giving them in the preseason, and the line stays open in holes like that, and then you factor in the passing game. If he gets lined up against somebody, him and Sean Lee going against each other could be really interesting and fun to watch. But I think he gets at least that, and I'm going to stick with the over. I'm a big fan of CMC this year. I didn't get him in a single damn fantasy league that I wanted him in, but I'm a big fan of his. I wanted him bad. I was prepared to take him early second round, but I didn't have any early second round picks. So who we got next?
Devin Funchess with 10.16.
10 point.
I had him in my starting lineup,
dependent.
And I took him off. I think he goes under, and it's dependent on that touchdown.
Yeah, I'm definitely going under on him just because he's touchdown dependent. If he gets the touchdown, obviously he'll probably get over it. But Cam, like I said, I just believe Cam's gonna be spreading the ball a lot, and we'll just have to see how that plays on. Checking YouTube right quick for comments. I heard David Tepper wants to bring a professional soccer team. Yes, that's he's hired a guy. The team president that was announced was a former soccer CEO or CFO. One or the other. So yes, he's definitely. I would say that's definitely on the uptick. Would you give a second for Earl Thomas? No, I wouldn't. Chauncey Ellerby under for Dak. He will be throwing on the run all game, major pressure. I could definitely see that. 17 points is kind of hard for me. I don't know.
Could you getting it. Going back to the soccer thing? We pre-gamed at that little European bar area one time.
Oh yeah.
On a Sunday morning at 8:30,
okay.
And we were being served alcohol.
Talking about down there about a French Quarter.
Yeah, French Quarter. At 8:30 in the morning, we were being served alcohol, and it was slammed because of soccer.
Yep.
Soccer, it could be big.
Yeah.
I mean, and I remember I was like, "There's no." He's like, "Yeah, the cops are too busy with game day. They don't care. You want a beer?" It's 8:30 in the morning.
Soccer fans are intense, man.
Yeah.
Can't sleep on.
So
it.
I think it could be big.
Who we got next in fantasy?
Ezekiel Elliott projected 16.9.
Ooh, this is going to be the telltale of the game right here. And like I said earlier, I predicted Panthers would keep him under 75 yards. I'm going to stick to that, and I'm going to call under for him.
75 yards. That puts him at 7.5. Yeah, I'll go under.
And obviously, guys, keep this in mind. It's hard to predict what these players are going to do without seeing a single full regular season game out of them. So this right now is really shots in the dark just based off what we've seen and our opinions. Like I said, y'all drop y'all's in there. Pat Widener again saying under. I think Joseph Jones saying he thinks Greg could have a big game. There you go. What is Greg Olsen projected? Did we put that in there?
You didn't put.
I didn't put a lot of the targets in there just because like I said, I feel like Cam's really going to be spreading the ball.
He's usually projected about 8 points.
Yeah.
Like that's usually 8 or 9 points is his max he's projected.
Ooh, Steve Garrett saying DJ Moore gets 2 touchdowns. Woo.
I mean, that would be nice to see after seeing quiet preseason.
And that would be a big over for him.
Yeah.
I would about guarantee that. What do we got for, let's see, Luke Kuechly here, going to defensive side of things for those playing with defensive positions like we do in one of our leagues. 8.35 points over under. Let me just say, if he has anything close to what he did last time on Thanksgiving Day against Dallas, 2 interceptions, 1 a pick 6, just dominated Tony Romo in the passing game. Obviously, this is Dak Prescott. It was 3 years ago. We discussed that. I'm taking the over. Luke Kuechly is, every time somebody's had him in our league, he's gotten 10 to 20 points a game almost most of the time when he's playing. Obviously,
I have him in a defensive league, and I'll go over. He never. It's 8 is when he gets injured.
Yeah, it's extremely rare.
Yeah.
He damn near averages 10 tackles a game, if not more sometimes. So I'm definitely taking the over there as well. And who else we got? Sean Lee.
Sean Lee at 7.99.
I'll take the over on Sean Lee too. He's a stud linebacker, man. I give that guy props. He just needs to stay healthy for Dallas. Look, I'm not going to throw any shade at Dallas. They got some talented players. Sean Lee is a stud linebacker. When he can stay on the field, that's been the issue. But hey, beat Dallas. Screw you this week. And I think that was it for the fantasy roundup, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you think Julius Peppers does?
I think he gets at least 1 sack. I mean, he's averaging a sack a game against them in his 6 games he's played against them in his career.
Yeah.
Maybe a strip sack.
I think, like I said, I think he gets a strip sack.
Yes. Let's. I'm all for that. Let's get that. All right. Julius Peppers for a strip sack. Sign it down. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Checking Facebook. Mike Strib up here saying Luke gets 5 points per tackle. Oh yeah, he might as well. 8 for Luke and 7 for Shaq. Oh, I like the Shaq prediction there, Johans. Nice. Check YouTube. Under for Dak, he will be under pressure. We've read that one already. Sorry. But now we'll move on here anyway to our final segment for this preview. It's prediction times, everybody. Prediction times. Billy. Oh, knocked my headset off. What do you got? Y'all drop y'all's predictions in here too. Drop them in the comments right now and hold on to them and don't change them later. If something goes awry during the game, don't be changing nothing. Billy, what do you got? Let's see if you can get it close.
27-14. Panthers.
Dallas? No, I'm kidding. I was hoping.
Panthers.
Yeah. I think Carolina can win this game by 10 points or more, double digits. And, see, you said 27-14?
Yep.
I will. You know what? I'm gonna go 24. I think they get a field goal in there. I'm gonna go 24-10. So we both what? You got 13. I got 14.
Which I was looking at the history of all their games earlier while I was waiting for you to get home, and I saw that besides one game, most of the games have been decided by 11 points or less.
Between these two?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And see, that's kind of another thing. I say 24 because this Carolina offense has potential to put up a lot of points this season with the weapons now. Hopefully it lives up to that anyway. But I feel like the first couple of weeks are going to take some still getting used to the game plans and getting out there and playing real live games. So I think could take a few weeks to get there. So that's my reasoning for this 24-10, 24-13 score. So I said 24-10 first, so I'm gonna stick with that one because I was just harping on everybody else to stick with theirs. Let's see, y'all's are rolling in here on Facebook. Y'all keep them coming. We will read them all right now. Dawn Garner is predicting 34-17 Panthers. Joseph Andrews 34-10 Panthers. Are you seeing a trend here already?
I mean, we did have one of the highest scoring offenses in the preseason.
Yep.
34 is a lot of points.
Yeah. Hey, I would love to see it, though.
I would love to see it.
Yeah. Abel Stimson, Carolina Panthers 28, Dallas Cowboys 14. Pat Widener, Carolina 31, Dallas 17. Steve Garrett, 30-17 Carolina. I'm assuming Carolina. Johans West, nice growl effect and like the snapbacks made a comeback.
Well, I need to get a snapback.
Johans, you can start battling Eminem too? He's predicting Carolina 27-21. I like that prediction as well. It's the first game of the season. This could be close, and there could be ugly parts in this game for both teams. So that's Michael Goodwin 28-10 Panthers. Steve Garrett saying defense. Chris Brand with his eyeball emoji. He's got some big eyes.
He's a Raiders fan, which just went to the worst defense in the NFL now.
Woo. Timmy Cordy's up here dropping 29-3. I love it.
I got Graham Gano. That's a lot of points.
Hey, you take it, right? I'm looking at checking YouTube now. Let's see. Chauncey Ellerby saying over for Luke earlier. He will be all over little Zeke. Yeah, I hope so too. Luke's a monster. Victor Thomas is predicting Carolina 28, Dallas 10. Daniel Nestor 27-10 Panthers. It's a lot of Panthers. Donald McKenzie, Cowboys 28-17. I think Donald was the Saints fan that's been joining the stream here on YouTube. Okay, Donald, welcome. Hey, look, I ain't gonna turn you back. Go ahead and hit that sub button if you haven't already too. 28-17 Cowboys. Donald, before we get off, drop what you think is going to be the difference in the game. I'm going to predict he's going to say something about Cam Newton if he's that Saints fan we were talking about. But welcome to the show, Donald, honestly. Thank you for joining and tuning in. Thank all of y'all for tuning in and joining. And I do want to give a shout-out right now. I announced last week the Patreon page for us is live, patreon.com/PanthersSource. We are taking in, hopefully, monthly pledges from people. You can donate as little as $2 a month, $5 a month, and even $10 a month. All of these come with different tiers. 40% of all donations monthly, guys, will be going to charitable causes around whether it's Carolina Panthers players, local events around here, turkeys for Thanksgiving for families that can't afford it, Christmas toys for kids, something. There will be videos when these actually start happening and we're able to get enough donations to make this happen. We will be making videos and posting them and sharing them with everybody. There will be credits for everybody that donates monthly, on-screen credits at our shows. I think the goal right now, if we start getting $500 monthly pledges, we will start doing giveaways for jerseys for all our patrons or pledges that are donating monthly. So y'all, please go check that out. We're trying to give back and also build this show up for you. Like we said, all the money will be going to upgrading the studio stuff we've been building in. It takes a lot to run this. We had no idea what we were getting into when we started it, but we fell in love. We fell in love with all of y'all getting up here and talking about it. So thank you, and keep it up. Billy, did we have anything else?
Do you think we'll go with some more? I like predictions.
Billy just dropped that in the comments on Facebook, by the way, the link.
Do you think Cam has a clean game?
What do you mean clean? No interceptions?
No interceptions, no fumbles.
I was actually just kind of thinking about this to myself earlier today, and that would be, how remarkable would it be just to shut up haters? And I think he can completely do this. But it's really going to depend on obviously the offensive line, how it's going. But I think he has the weapons to do that this year. And if he's not getting a lot of pressure, he's got the weapons, and I think the Cowboys secondary right now is just a little too young, and I think he goes with 0 interceptions. Fumbles I don't know about, because if he's getting hit from his blind side from behind, he can't see that's out of his control. So I'm gonna go 0 interceptions.
So
yes,
clean game with no interceptions.
Yes,
I could see it.
You could see it.
I could see it.
Okay, I think he's gonna.
What about McCaffrey?
No fumbles?
No fumbles?
No fumbles. No fumbles.
He had one in the preseason.
Yeah, one. He got it out of his system.
Yeah.
No fumbles all year.
Hopefully.
No fumbles all year, CMC.
But he doesn't have that issue. He doesn't really have that issue.
He's not a fumbling running back. So, Don Garner saying thank you. You're welcome. Thank y'all. I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be sitting here doing this if we didn't have y'all support every week, every show. And we're trying to deliver more and more content every week as much as we can. And like I said, every post-game show, we're live right here talking about it with everybody, taking your phone calls live, everything. So y'all keep joining. And Billy, there was something that dropped earlier today that I forgot to bring up, and I just thought about. The KB hate this year is pretty strong right now. Yeah. And our guys over at Bring Back the Buzz made a cool, funny Kelvin Benjamin Just Do It meme based off their anniversary. And it's, as you see it, and for those listening on the podcast later, if you haven't seen it, it's a picture of KB in a Panthers uniform dropping a wide open pass to his arms, and it says, "Blame someone, even if it means blaming everyone, ... other than yourself. Just do it." I thought it was pretty funny. The guys over there at Bring Back the Buzz on Twitter posting it, the social media guys that helped bring back the Hornets to Charlotte, obviously, and all that jazz. Good stuff from them. I told them I'd be dropping it on the show tonight. Hey, dropping.
Let's get some more comments before we go. Johans wants to know: do we think we'll see many deep shots or trick plays in Norv's play calling?
I don't think Nora's much of a trickster, and a lot of this stuff isn't really supposed to go away from what Mike Shula did. It's supposed to improve the offense through in-game adjustments and everything else. You're obviously going to see some differences in Norv's schemes. I definitely think you'll see some deep shots. I mean, some of his playbook is built that way, but it's also been an emphasis on getting the ball out quicker. You might see a couple in the game, but if you're talking like flea flickers or anything crazy,
I don't think flea flickers. Maybe reverse.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
like
maybe
end around,
yeah, something like that. But
you've got the versatility with DJ Moore, especially. His run after catch ability is huge there. I think you got to keep that in mind.
And we're downgrading, in my opinion, to Bird from Samuel.
Yeah.
So maybe when Samuel comes back, we'll see more of it.
Yeah.
How many yards for Funchess?
That's what I'm reading right now. Doris Sales asking how many yards for Funchess. I'm gonna go around the 50 mark, maybe. Like I said, we predicted his fantasy 10-point projection to be under, and that's really touchdown dependent. Like I said, Cam just has these weapons, and when he's had weapons that are catching the ball and doing well for him, he spreads it well, and he's not trying to force it. And I feel like, you're talking about Devin Funchess, Greg Olsen, yes, Torrey Smith, I said it, Jarius Wright, and then DJ Moore, and even Demir Bird if he's getting rotated in there some. So he's got weapons this year, and I feel like Cam is really going to be able to spread the ball. I didn't even say CMC, and he's a huge weapon out the backfield. So we got to remember, I don't expect there will be games where some of these guys have a huge game and it's a show out by one person, but I honestly don't think it's going to be similar to 2015 where these guys all have several hundred yards each, but it's a team effort. And at the end of the day, that's all I care about. If you're winning football games,
I care about the W.
Yeah,
I don't care how it happens.
Yeah, I don't care if I have you on my fantasy team. I don't care if you're scoring 2 points and you're winning football games. I'll take it all day. Take it. I
don't know if my heart could take that.
What's that?
A 2-point win. You still score a safety and you win.
Well. Yeah. No, I'm talking about fantasy? On fantasy. I'm talking about fantasy, not real life. No, you got to score some points, Billy.
Yeah. What was the score in preseason that was really low?
For this year?
Not for us. It was in the league.
Oh, it was the Browns and it was
5-3.
Yeah, it was Browns
5-0.
Browns Eagles.
Yeah,
so it was
5-0.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
By the way, we will all be cheering for the Philadelphia Eagles tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, beat the Falcons. The Falcons it was posted on Twitter today, they're the healthiest team in the NFL. They haven't had a single player on the PUP list or IR going into the season throughout the offseason. That would be in our division, the toughest division in football.
Julio Jones hasn't touched the turf yet in the season. Ready for that toe to give up again.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to check y'all's YouTube comments one more time. Daniel Nestor said 27-10 Panthers. Donald McKenzie up here saying he is the Saints fan. Thinks we'll have trouble with their pass rush. That's a popular pick with the switch the musical chairs on offensive line for the Carolina Panthers, and I understand that from the outside looking in. Donald, I don't know how much you pay attention, and it could be a factor, but just judging off what we've seen this preseason, this turnaround, like I said before, reminds me of 2014 when the Panthers were struggling, and then they had to make some changes due to injuries on the offensive line and went on a big run to make the playoffs and win the division, and it transferred into the 2015 season. Yep. I'm not saying we're going 15-1 into the Super Bowl, guys, so don't run off with that, Donald. I know you're waiting to chime in on it. But seriously, I just feel like this could be something. Depth is the biggest concern, obviously.
There's been a couple people on some of the major networks that have Panthers in talks of the Super Bowl before week 1.
Actually, Connor Orr from Sports Illustrated just joined our friends over at the Keep Pound In podcast for the Right Report. Actually just joined their show and was talking about how he picked against the Panthers all 2015, but he actually has them as a strong contender this year, so that's fun.
That's not – we're not used to that. The Panthers never get coverage, never get talked about.
But, hey, their predictions by all these top networks, too, have been way down. You're talking 7 and 9 in a lot of these places. I haven't seen one really, I don't think, above 10 yet. So
yeah, I saw, of course, Summer is calling for them to win the Super Bowl, but I did see an article where some sports writers had us under 500. Like, I think there were 6 or 7 of them, and like 5 of them had us under 500. So a lot of sports writers don't have any faith in the Panthers.
That's interesting. Well, anyway, guys, we are going to get out of here. One last comment off YouTube I just saw roll in, or a couple. Chauncey Ellerby, 41-9 Carolina defense. The league hasn't seen high expectations, and Cam super excited. Day Falls, don't worry, Bird will have a big game. Their defense isn't good unless Cam and the team make them look good with small mistakes. Just watch out for those defensive end pass rushers. You can't sleep on those guys, and Sean Lee's still a beast. But, guys, we are Panthersaurus. Be sure to like and follow us. Share this post if you haven't already. Drop your comments. Keep the predictions coming if you're watching this later. Subscribe, review, do all that fun stuff with us. Post-game show will be Sunday after the game, probably around 8 o'clock. We're hoping it doesn't go into overtime, obviously. But for Panthersaurus, I'm Trip Morgan.
Billy Harless.
Y'all check that Patreon page out and help us start giving back. And we will see y'all, I think it is Sunday. Yes, Sunday at around 8.